Presented by GhostBed.com.
What is up? Welcome to the fake news. I am your host for the foreseeable future. Not too long, I actually think. I think Ross is doing a lot better.
Yeah, I think he'll be back next week.
Yeah, but for now, I'm Rob Fox, and I'm joined as always by Dan Holloway.
Joe Biden shit his pants in Rome a couple weeks ago. I just don't want people to forget about that. We've forgotten about the 13 U.S. service members who were killed because of his incompetence and the incompetence of Millie and Austin. We've forgotten about a lot of stuff. Please, let's not forget. We forgot that Epstein didn't kill himself. We forgot that Ghislaine Maxwell's even in prison. But Joe Biden shit himself.
I don't think you say that right. You're like, Joe Biden shit himself in Rome.
In front of the Pope.
In front of the Pope is, I think, the better phrase.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Look, the Democrats aren't having a very good time right now. And as political parties often do, they've turned inward on each other. Mm-hmm. N-word, not N-word, by the way. But shut up, Sean. Trying to concentrate. It's funny to see how this all goes all the time. Like AOC's like, this proves that you gotta fucking let the progressives do. Like, no, what the fuck? No.
Seems to prove the opposite.
Yeah, it definitely proves the opposite. Even Carville's like, hey, can we cut this shit out, please?
Yeah.
We would like to win some elections at some point.
Right. Please stop scaring the people who actually vote.
Yeah, white women. I guess the question is Youngkin winning the beginning of a red wave, or is this like an isolated response to, because McAuliffe is one of the biggest violators of, I guess, the sanctity of education with this critical race theory bullshit. Like he's one of the top. We all know New York and California, liberal, blah, 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 but Virginia, you don't expect that shit there.
No, it's very much a purple state, even though it's been kind of blue the last couple of elections, like presidential elections. It's still very much a purple state. One thing to keep in mind, I think, too, on this, when everyone's kind of overreacting to the lead, which is fair because the CRT stuff was a huge thing, but like Terry McAuliffe was like a turd of a retread. Like, was already the governor. I don't think people liked him that much. I mean, like, maybe he did, but like, didn't he flame out of a presidential race? And
yeah, but that happens to pretty much every popular governor.
Right.
Right. You unless you're the person that becomes president or you get a cabinet position or vice presidency, usually you flame out, I guess. But I would otherwise think this might be a bit isolated if it weren't for the shit that happened in New Jersey. Now, to the McAuliffe thing, people didn't appreciate him saying that the government should basically be in charge of their kids. Like, it's not.
Right.
I mean, effectively, what he said was, "It's none of your business what we're teaching your kids." And people were like,
What?
Like,
What?
okay. Do you want to take any time to explain that a little bit? Like, no,
Nah.
fuck you.
It's fine.
Hot topic these days with government overreach in general, especially into schools and especially with the government's angling now to get force kids to get vaccinated and shit like that. California just passed a vaccine card requirement for kids 5 and older.
That's funny to a card a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid that it's becoming comical at this point.
Like, is there a bouncer at the McDonald's play place? No, it's just like, hey, come here, come on.
But Virginia, I would agree, it's a purple state. I don't think it's a blue state. But New Jersey is a blue state. And despite having Chris Christie as their governor not too long ago, it's still pretty blue state and has been for a while.
I think it is like pretty blue, but New Jersey has a chance to be kind of purple too because it's extremely suburban state.
Now with all this bullshit going on, I mean, that's the problem for the left. And I think that's why the red wave is a real thing because the power center from the Democratic Party has been the Squad and their fucking Green New Deal horse shit. And then Gavin Newsom is a huge part of all that stuff. And all their icons, all their people that sit out front, except for Biden, which is why he got nominated, are all fucking lunatic assholes. And it turns out that he's either also a lunatic asshole or too senile and incompetent to stop them, right? So, or incontinent, excuse me. Incompetent, incontinent. He did shit his pants. Little A, little B. But the New Jersey election was way closer than it should have been. I just want to point this out. I don't know what the final numbers are. I think it was right outside of a point victory. Am I correct about that?
I'll look it up real quick.
In New Jersey, there were 1 million more registered Democrats than registered Republicans. Now, I don't know if that matters necessarily. Like,
what does registered mean? So, because in each state it's a different thing.
Sure, when you register to vote in most states, you have to register with a party.
So yeah, in Texas, but like for example, though, whatever you basically voted as in the last primary, I think you're registered as.
Right.
So like if you like, for example, like there's no need to vote in the Republican primary for president in 2016 or 2020, right? Because it's Trump. So, but I voted in the Republican primary in 2016. I voted in the Democratic primary in 2020.
Right.
So I've been both a registered Republican and Democrat because you just choose right at the poll. It's like you get to vote in one. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah, I do that. I flip a lot too, just to kind of fuck with the other primary process. So I got nothing better to do in my life. But yeah, you're right about that. I don't know about in New Jersey, but this has been an historical thing that New Jersey's been relatively blue when it comes to statewide elections. And this guy barely fucking won. And in one of their most staunch blue districts, a fucking truck driver beat the guy that's been the Senate majority leader forever, for like decades now.
For state Senate?
For state Senate, yeah. So Edward Burr, who's a furniture company truck driver, defeated Steve Sweeney in New Jersey's 3rd legislative district after spending $153 in the primary and I think another couple of $1,000.
Sick.
In the general. It seems like people are kind of waking up and paying attention to this bullshit.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, Murphy beat Ciatarelli 50.03 to 49.22. That's with 90% of the ballots counted.
Wow.
According to the AP.
That's closer than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so that part's not surprising to me because I do think that there is a bit of a red wave coming. I don't think it's more support for conservatism as it used to be necessarily because we've been dealing with neocons for the last 20 years. But I do think that the conservatives have, not because they wanted to, but because they've had to regressed a little bit back to their old ways of just like, hey, can we calm the fuck down? And that seems like a more palatable option for most people than let's fucking bankrupt our economy and fucking make people force vaccinate and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, let's not do that. I mean, even Carville this morning was just like, God, can you guys shut the fuck up? It seems like the squad has lost its power. Like, that was the problem for the Democrats, and it's why a lot of people thought Trump was going to win, even though he was pretty unpopular going into 2020, is because the Democrats were getting led around by the nose, not by Bernie Sanders, who they've successfully boxed out for a cool 8 years now, but by these fucking lunatic retards in Congress that just say the fucking craziest shit they can think of.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It's just like they're in it's like they're in grad school and everybody's smoking weed and trying to come up with ideas to save the world. We're going to save the world. And they're just trying to one-up each other with more fucking crazy ideas. Like, why don't we just eliminate everything altogether?
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool, let's do that,
People
you fucking dumb bitch.
There should be no more war.
Yeah.
Or just gets like,
just fucking stupid shit. So, I don't know.
Well, part of that, too, is that, like, it's kind of the same with Trump as it is with the squad. You basically highlight, like, the people who are going to get you clicks and views and all that shit, right? So, like, nobody really cares about Joe Manchin until Joe Manchin is the last guy to vote on a bill. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of Joe Manchin, this morning or late yesterday on Fox News, of all places, he was like, people were asking about his political affiliation. He said, look, this country's always been pretty center-right. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you're a Democrat. Better reel that one in. Yeah. But that isn't Joe Manchin's a smart dude. He doesn't get involved in a lot of political controversy, so he knows exactly what he's saying. Yeah. And I think that is his statements are a pretty good barometer of where we are as a country. There's definitely a swing back towards the right now. We'll see what happens with all that. I don't know. I mean, well, one thing that's interesting, we were talking about it off air in regards to the Virginia election. A lot of the stuff Trump lost in terms of demographic shit. Yeah. Like white women especially. Yeah, Youngkin gained back. He destroyed. Like, I think white women
70% or something voted for Youngkin, I think.
So in Virginia in 2020, white women went 50% for Biden, 49% for Trump. And in Virginia in 2021, white women went 57% for Youngkin, 43% for McAuliffe.
see.
So a 15-point swing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. I think when we what I always say is bad ideas don't get exposed through rage or censorship or any of that shit. They get exposed with good ideas. Sometimes they get exposed by putting them into practice, right?
Right.
And I think this is the first time on the federal level that woke bullshit ever really found its way to the agenda. And you've seen what's happened the last year. I mean, people are like, we're not spending $3.5 trillion when you refuse to tell us what the fuck it's for. You know what I mean? Like, this is not going to happen. And I think even Democrats are like, this is kind of dumb. And here's the proof of it. Look at all these progressives that have been coming on our shows, like Alec Ross, Brett and Heather, and Michael Schellenberg just yesterday, and a bunch of other motherfuckers have come on. People that probably 2 years ago would not have done a show like mine.
Right.
And now they're like, everybody's fucking stupid.
I mean, it's a bit of a bad marriage between regular sort of Democrats and then like the socialist progressive Democrats, because I saw this on, I'm stealing this from something I saw on Reddit, but essentially like the like center Democrats try to like appease the socialist progressive Democrats or whatever, but there's no give and take with that. The socialist Democrats don't care who hates them. They don't really care about anything. And so
because they're fundamentalists.
Right, exactly. So they don't give a fuck. Like, they're not going to return any sort of favor aside from like maybe biting the bullet and voting blue when they really super duper have to.
Yeah.
And I think the center of the party is getting pretty fucking annoyed at it.
Yeah. Some people in the chat are talking about Ian, whatever the fuck his name is, the guy whose gem got shut down, Ian Smith, maybe, in New Jersey. How he broke some story about the election being rigged up there. Just shut the fuck up about that shit.
People forget he killed a guy.
We went over the list of people who killed people in cars earlier today on RPR.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, I'm sorry, it's simply not true. I appreciate the fact that you guys don't trust the electoral process. I don't trust anybody in government either, as you can see, right? They're all a bunch of cunts. But you're applying a standard to a fucking website, a news website that's receiving reporting. They're making guesstimations and shit like that and blah, blah, blah. It's just not true. Sorry. It's just not how it goes. It disappeared because they banned his Instagram account for, once again, lying about the elections being rigged. This is no evidence. I mean, if you've got evidence, sure. But if your evidence is that, well, I was watching CBS website and the numbers changed overnight, like, okay, then maybe their numbers were wrong. CBS isn't the official arbiter of U.S. elections, motherfucker.
Right. God
damn it, man. I wish you folks would understand how that whole process works. It isn't like there's some linear chain of votes coming in, and we know what they're going to be based on when and where they're coming from and shit like that. It's just not how it works.
And they don't even count them the same, like county to county and shit. It's a very slapdick process, kind of.
The James O'Keefe video that came out yesterday, that was pretty funny. I mean, it was these poll workers in New Jersey are certainly breaking all kinds of laws. One guy walked in. He was Irish, I believe. He told him he was an Irish citizen, wasn't an American citizen, wasn't registered to vote.
Yeah.
He goes, but I voted last time. And they're like, all right, cool. I don't know if they're going to count it, but here's a ballot.
Oh, they give him a provisional ballot?
Yeah. So a lot of that happens on the lower level, but it would require tens of thousands of those to swing a federal election. It would
for a federal election
per state.
Yeah.
Like it would require. I think it would have required 12 or 15,000 of those in Minnesota, and then in Arizona, I think it would have been like 38,000 or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but that is a massive amount of stuff that would be blatantly obvious, and it's not obvious. I've looked at every piece of data that you guys don't have access to data that I don't. One of my buddies ran the fucking campaign against the fucking voting machine company. I've seen all this stuff. I don't believe it. Anyways, you should. The government's certainly incompetent. There's no question about that. And there are certainly bad actors who are out there trying to fucking do stuff like that. But
and also poll workers are. I mean, like, dude, you'll never not I would never be surprised if a poll worker does something like super incompetent. They're like basically volunteers.
They're like
school moms.
They're like the single A baseball version of DMV employees. You know what I mean? They're fucking retarded.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude. God bless you if you take the time, I guess, to go volunteer. Not, I mean, you get paid a little bit, but to basically volunteer. Like, thank you for doing that, I suppose. But like, still, I don't like. It's school. Like, it's just a bunch of people who show up.
Yeah.
Get trained for what, like half a day or something, probably.
And Rude, the vet Russo. I understand that mailed ballots seem suspect to you. I've used mail-in ballots for, let's see, what year is this? Since I joined the Army, so since the first election I voted in after that was 2006. I haven't voted in person since 2006. Does that mean my vote has been rigged the whole time? I mean, what you're saying is that there might be some reason to investigate that, and we have, and I haven't seen the fucking results of an investigation point towards mass voter fraud. Just isn't there. So I'm tired of talking about this shit. Anyways. I would encourage anybody to find any actual evidence. That'd be dope. But until you do, shut the fuck up. Speaking of woke bullshit, Boston seems to be the next home of woke bullshit.
I'm actually feels a little late to the game for them.
Yeah, man, this is like shit that happened in Seattle, 12 years ago when they had a socialist city council person get elected or something like that. And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they went through their whole spell of absolute fucking nonsense. Well, Michelle Wu, a retarded progressive with no life experience to speak of, is the new mayor of Boston. Congratulations. Boston Joe, if you're in the room, congratulations for your fucking shitty city. An attorney who's never actually practiced any law.
Oh, okay.
She went to law school and then became a consultant, which probably means that somebody was grooming her for something.
So has she even passed the bar?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay.
She's never practiced any law, but she's been groomed specifically by former Boston Mayor Menino and, you guessed it, Pocahontas herself, Elizabeth Warren. This is Elizabeth Warren's contribution to fucking Boston politics. Wu, who is 36, has been in politics since 2014 when she was 29 years old. Oddly enough, the same age that Biden entered politics and had never had a real job again after that. He's 78 years old, folks. Her platform is to establish a Green New Deal for Boston. I don't know how that fucking works. It's a city. So she wants to establish a Green New Deal for Boston, rent stabilization, which if you listen to Schellenberger in his book, San Francisco, about this horse shit, it is absolutely, it's just hollow. It doesn't actually do anything.
Rent stabilization, what is that in compared to rent control? It sounds like the same thing. Is it like a little more?
Rent stabilization has a housing first motif to it, meaning they believe that people not being in homes is the real cause of poverty and crime and drug abuse, which is demonstrably untrue.
So it's kind of like chicken before the egg.
Yeah, Schellenberger goes through all the research in his book, San Francisco. You can read it. I mean, there's a litany of information and data on how that is simply not true, that if you put people through shelters first, then drug rehabilitation, and then if you need to give them housing that is contingent upon them passing drug tests, that's the system that works. Nothing else works, just so we're clear. And food justice, which is, that one I'm a little more inclined to believe in because I've lived in Oakland and there's quite a few food deserts there. There are places where people who don't have either the time or a primary means of transportation to get outside of their shitty little city to get fresh food. So they have to eat in the center aisles of the grocery store, and that's where diabetes comes from.
Right,
you know
right,
what I mean? So I get all that. She also promotes going after the last ungovernment-ridden form of education, pre-K and kindergarten. So she's on that same Terry McAuliffe tip. That's one of the reasons he just got fucking booted out of that race. And her entire agenda, if you listen to her campaign messages and her interviews and stuff, it's all woke bullshit, including social workers responding to calls instead of police.
That'll be
everywhere
fun
else
in the Southie.
Everywhere else in the entire country, that shit got shut down already. Mm-hmm. Everywhere. It's been shut down already. But Boston, like they're in a fucking time machine or some shit like that. It's like how do you do, fellow kids? You know what I mean? It's like that meme with what's his name?
Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What's wrong with Boston? I think maybe they just have sat out the last decade mentally. And they're like, hey, yo, we should do something about this.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? It's been on fire for a while now. What's going on with
That
you?
is kind of interesting timing for them in particular. Because Boston is, or Massachusetts is like very Democrat, but not very progressive.
It hasn't been very progressive, historically speaking. I mean, despite, like, the Kennedys are not very well liked,
Yeah.
right? Well, some of them are.
I think JFK is probably a saint there.
Bobby, not so much. But
And Ted, they kind of love too, even though he drowned a lady.
Yeah. Well, yes. Let's see. BT Bates, you're absolutely right. Fucking AOC literally said that they lost because they weren't progressive enough.
Right.
What the fuck, man? Every attempt to defund the police over the last 3 years or so, I guess, the ones that have worked have already been reversed. Ted Wheeler in Portland is running on a refund the police ticket right now.
But
after he had to move out of his fucking downtown townhome or condo because they tried to set it on fire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But what do you expect her to say? Like, do you expect her to admit she was wrong?
No.
That's always the funny thing when I'll get like texts from conservative friends and they're like, look what they're fucking saying. I'm like, well, what do you? Okay, like I agree, it's fucking crazy, but like, what did you expect them to?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but Boston's fucked, and I also Sleeper Cell says AOC's a puppet. I agree. I think AOC is being mentored by something akin to Obama and Bill Ayers kind of situation where Obama was a rational human being and he just happened to be around those people. But he seems to have picked up a lot of stupid shit because he's now out on the stump saying critical race theory doesn't exist either. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But AOC does indeed seem to be getting coached from someone that has an agenda. That's what it seems, because she's fucking stupid.
But why wouldn't they do that? Because she is on air all the time. Mm-hmm. And as we learned with Trump, that might be the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is just constantly being on air. Two, and we talked about this the other day, this isn't like a misogynistic thing, she's attractive. Like, she's a relatively attractive woman.
She's attractive to people who don't see the warning signs. To me, she is a snake with very bright colors. You know what I mean? Because I've dated crazy guys before.
Yeah.
I know what they look like, and I don't want my fucking tires slashed again. But yeah, she definitely is.
She checks a lot of boxes on I can get this person into a pretty high office.
I wish she would run for president, or even Senate in New York. She would get fucking destroyed.
Yeah, she gets slaughtered.
She'll stay there in the same way that Pelosi's never moved outside of her little fucking jurisdiction either.
And you know what? Maybe that's what maybe if there is someone greener, maybe that's what it's for, is to try to be Speaker of the House or some bullshit like that.
Maybe. That's not going to happen. There's literally no chance that fucking 213 or 218 people are going to vote for her to be Speaker of the House.
I mean, certainly no time soon. I mean, say what you want about Pelosi being super progressive and shit, but she at least was pragmatic and realistic about knowing that she needed to win purple districts, right? Yeah. Whereas AOC, at least right now, is extremely antagonistic to anyone who, like, say, won a seat in Florida somewhere.
Even on her side.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Jacob Nickel, you're right. There was one that I forgot about, and that was our buddy, Angry Cops, Richard High. This woman up there, India something or other, I can't remember her fucking last name, and no one will have to remember it after this because she got her ass handed to her. She won the Democratic primary for mayor of Buffalo on an agenda to defund the police and all the Marxist horse shit that you've been hearing over the last couple of years. And the current mayor just started a write-in campaign against her and won 70% of the vote or some shit like that. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Right. So basically no one voted in the primaries?
No.
Yeah, which is kind of how it goes.
India Walton, that's it. She's definitely not a member of the Walton family, I don't think. But, yeah. Yeah, that's...
She might have some very Bill Walton-esque views.
Maybe Bill Walton,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of a hippie. Although I think he's more of a He's more of a mountain hippie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which is like, let's do a lot of acid, but don't touch my guns kind of hippie.
I agree with that.
Ghost bed.
Ghost Bed is the first ad we got up today. And look, if you listen to these shows, you know what Ghost Bed is. They're the best beds in the world. We got one in the studio. Dan sleeps on one. Delco Dan sleeps on one. Everybody that works here pretty much sleeps on one. Right now they're running 2 deals. They're both awesome. I'm going to go in order of discount size, but they're both large discounts. The first one is a bundle deal. What you do is you start out with one of their 4 mattresses and an adjustable base, and then you build on however much you want from there. Sheets and pillows, both of which have cooling technology. They're really great to sleep on, not only in the summer when it gets hot here, but if you're like me, I blast the heat during the winter, so it gets kind of warm. Nice, it's a nice balance. And then, or anything else, or you can add on another mattress if you want. And say you move into a new house or something, you need to or fill a couple extra bedrooms with mattresses. Huge discount with the bundle deal. It's 40%. You go to ghostbed.com/drinkinbros and build that bundle there. Or if you don't need the mattress and adjustable base together, you just need a mattress, just want the base and some pillows or something. You want to shop a little more a la carte, essentially. Again, you go to ghostbed.com/drinkinbros and you type in the promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout, and you'll get 30% off anything in your cart. Just need pillows, or if you want, pillows and sheet and mattress, whatever. Just essentially not the bundle combo. You'll still get 30% off with the promo code Drinkin' Bros at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. These beds are made in America. You can finance them. It's like $35 a month, 0% down, 0 financing. Don't need a great credit score for it. 20-year warranty. I mean, it's just everything you can want from a bed, from comfort to customer service to just them, being there for you. Ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. The best mattresses in the world. Speaking of woke, we got more. This is a very woke episode. Since we're talking so much about race and woke, I decided to wear Sperry's and the Vineyard Vines pullover today.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, just to be extra qualified for it.
Well, you're certainly qualified. This is going to be my favorite part of the show. Do you guys want to get that PDF ready? So Obama and his former campaign manager and most of MSNBC are now all out there parroting the same talking point. Whenever you lose a major election like this, and it's super embarrassing, it is important to do a postmortem and figure out what happened.
Right.
Reestablish a presence, fix things that need to be fixed or whatever. It's meant to be a meritocracy. Obviously, these people are fucking lunatics, though, because they're just pretending what happened didn't actually happen.
Oh, I've heard from, non-crazy sources, like AOC. AOC is obviously going to be like, we weren't progressive enough. That's predictable. But I have seen that in news articles and stuff from, I don't know how these people are, because I haven't heard of them as much, but seemingly the people that are, like you said, supposed to be
in charge of the DNC.
Right, doing an actual real post-mortem. The people who are supposed to break down the game tape for real.
Yeah. Well,
and they're saying similar things.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So they're all claiming that schools in general, but particularly in Virginia, are not trying to promote this 1619 bullshit or critical race theory, whatever you want to call it. And even stated plainly, Obama said it's a fucking a myth. His campaign manager said it's a myth. NBC keeps referring to it as a racist dog whistle. Nicole Wallace said, quote, CRT, which is not real, turned the suburbs 15 points. Now, if this reminds you of Jerry Nadler, that little fucking hobbit bitch representative to Congress, suggesting that Antifa doesn't exist because they don't have a corporate charter or some shit, your feelings are accurate, just so your body and brain are working correctly. Your disbelief is correct. Not only is critical race theory real, thousands of schools have contracted a company called Equity Collaborative, spending tens of millions of dollars poisoning young minds with this absolute fucking nonsense, including one Virginia county that's redirected over $20 million in COVID funds to this bullshit. And they spent like $30 million total on Equity Collaborative. And what do they teach? Here it is. This is literally on their website right now. Introduction to Critical Race Theory, which doesn't exist. Doesn't exist, folks. It's the worst lie I've ever heard. When you can literally go on the Virginia School Board's website right goddamn now and see that shit. You can see the phrase critical race theory. You can see it on the fucking website right now, man. Don't tell me some shit I can see isn't real. You can trick me into some stuff.
Look,
all right?
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing with this whole situation. MSNBC and CNN and all these fucking turds on the left keep using the phrase "the big lie," right? The big lie in reference to the election being stolen, right? Fine. The big lie is about Hitler. The big lie is that Jews are the problem with our economy. We need to get rid of Jews, then we'll be okay. That's the big lie.
Right.
And they're using that language to describe some fucking retard social media guy who just happened to become president because of, whatever the fuck, because politics were so fucked up that it became that much of a fucking partisan, what do you call it? Popularity contest.
Perfect storm of fucking dog shit, essentially.
Yeah. So this stupid shit, by the way, isn't limited to one company. The VA county that we're talking about.
What county is this?
Hold on.
Because this, to me, I would assume this has got to be near like Charlottesville, D.C.
Open that other link there. It's I can't remember I don't know how to pronounce it either way, but
I have all of them on screen if you just want to tell me when to stop.
Well, hold on. I got to find it myself first. The name of the county that it's in is in there. North. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm trying to Google it right now.
Are you talking about the leaked documents article? Was it in there?
Yeah,
Loudoun County.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it though.
Loudon,
maybe. It's Laudon or some shit.
So it's right outside D.C.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's what I figured, is that it would be pretty suburban.
So these people spent millions of dollars, and it's not just Equity Collaborative, which is from Oakland, by the way. Imagine that. There's also a company called Panorama Education, which is funded by Zuckerberg and his dumbass wife, and they've been teaching the same bullshit on contracts across the country. It's not just Virginia; it's been going on everywhere. So if you look in this article on WSET, and there's a couple of other ones as well. I think who else? Townhall.com did a good article on this that shows all the tweets. McAuliffe has repeatedly suggested, one, that they don't do that, and two, he doesn't know what critical race theory is, and he also doesn't believe it's real, even though these documents that he signed have the phrase critical race theory on them.
Yeah.
So that's not a good lie.
It's an interesting choice.
To just lie in the face of clear proof?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty bizarre.
You got to, fuck, dude. How much of that do you really think was them just being like, Biden won by fucking 15, so
yeah,
we're good, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Like, what else could it,
I don't know why he would go that far. Like, just ignore that talking point and don't tell people that they're not allowed to see what their kids are learning.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably don't say that. Not only do the documents show that he, back in 2015, literally while he was on his way out of office, requested this shit be taught, there's 1 million documents to that effect. They're all over the place. So it begs the question, why is the left, this is a legit question that I want to hear from whomever's got a fucking opinion on it. Loudon, MC Cal CM says it's Loudon. Great. Why is the left pushing this agenda so hard that they continue to deny it even exists? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they're pushing this really hard and spending hundreds of millions of dollars on it, and then in public denying that it even exists. That to me is far more alarming than just the existence of critical race theory itself. Like, that's fucked up. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, I don't really have an answer to shoving this through, of all things, as opposed to, like, social programs or something. Like, this one in particular is really interesting. I don't get it. Who do you know? Like, what? Who the main drivers are behind it, aside from like the obvious big name, social.
Well,
media
George
names?
Soros is obviously behind a lot of it. A lot of the companies that have, the equity company is backed by George Soros. They receive quite a bit of money from him, but he's always into shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's got to be somebody that's actually
kind of funds
here.
everything.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody that's here, that's involved in it, and I'm not sure who it is, to be honest, or what, or why. I know that it's the progressive movement at large. And Obama's comments are particularly alarming because his categorization.
He's usually pretty good about these things.
His categorization of critical race theory is one, that it's a myth, and two, that white people are just butthurt that things are changing. Like, no, dude, that's not at all what the fuck is happening.
Right.
And if it was, you wouldn't be denying the existence of shit that is on the school board's website right now.
You hear the term dog whistling quite a bit, especially in the McGuffin race. It was hiding his Trumpness, and I hate that they're just continue classifying everyone by this. Like, I don't understand where this language is coming from.
Well, it's from people like Frank Luntz on the right and whomever else does it on the left. They come up with key phrases that trend well on Twitter. Right. And they just keep saying them over and over and over again. That's why you can see a million of these videos of people on CNN, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all the other fucking liberal rags using the exact same language to identify a problem, like the same sentence, word for word, to talk about something. That shouldn't happen in journalism. Not that they're journalists, but it shouldn't happen either way.
I mean, they're entertainers.
And by the way, on the Youngkin thing, he pretty much kept Trump out of the conversation.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that point because it's in the thing. Like he just ran his own campaign.
Yeah, McAuliffe couldn't stop saying Trump.
Right.
Even Biden this past week in Geneva, he gave a speech. He used Trump's name 15 fucking times. Dude, it's been a year.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Do your fucking job and stop shitting your pants.
Yeah, that's
in front of the Pope. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends. Grandpa, go to fucking sleep. Eat your fucking oatmeal, you stupid cunt. God damn it, man. Yeah, Van Jones said the new Virginia governor is the Delta variant of Trumpism. Oh, that's really quippy, Van Jones. Blow your fucking brains out, Van Jones, you fucking piece of shit.
That's a nice piece. That's a nice tweet.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good little soundbite.
I'm a journalist.
I mean,
Shut the fuck up.
It's all the same buzzwords.
Yeah, it is. It's just the same fucking nonsense over and over and over again. So in 2015, when McAuliffe was governor, he initiated the first documented statewide DOE, Department of Education training program on critical race theory. It's expanded through the latest administration, but he started it in 2015.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one that initially diverted funds to it. Man. And here's here's a memo from the Virginia Superintendent of Public Instruction, James F. Lane, to all school districts in 2019, encouraging school leaders to read a book and the book says the following about critical race theory, quote, an important analytical tool. Our critical race theory is, quote, an important analytical tool for addressing power and privilege, end quote. And you can see the slides from the goddamn thing. And it says critical race theory on it.
I'll pull it back up on 1 second.
God damn it, man. Is it come? I don't want to defund politicians here, guys. Definitely don't want to. Excuse me.
No, I'm not trying to defund
politicians here.
Yeah, here's the exact slide that Dan was talking about a second ago, where they define critical race theory. This is slide 10 in the PowerPoint presentation. And what's interesting is these dates and all these people quoted under here, Dan, of 1995 and 2007.
Yeah, critical race theory has been around for a long time.
This isn't, I would say, this is like the sociology classes I took in college.
Yeah, it's from the 60s. It's part of postmodernist theory. If you're really interested in this, read a book by Helen Pluck-Rose and James Lindsay called Cynical Theories. It's a very good dissection of how stupid all of this stuff is. Let's move on and gamble a little bit because I can't talk about this anymore.
Yeah, next up we got my bookie chilling on the main feed today. If you don't follow Drinkin Bros Sports, which you should, subscribe to that YouTube, smash the like and subscribe or whatever on wherever you listen to podcasts. My bookie is where we do our gambling, make a lot of picks. We have a college football show later today for this week, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's up next.
Yep.
And look, without a proven betting platform,
by the way, this is going to be a better college football week than it is a fucking NFL week. The NFL week fucking sucks, dude.
Dog shit.
I don't even know if I'm going to watch football this week. Brittany's like, oh, if baseball season's finally over so we can get to bed at a normal hour now.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but football, And she's like, oh, God, I forgot about that. Well, you don't have to worry about it this week.
No,
Because the
that's
NFL fucking sucks
Yeah,
this week.
especially now that Aaron Rodgers is rubbing crystals on his body to try to heal himself.
Jesus Christ. There's like a smoke signal coming through his house right now.
He's just.
I'm
pivoting.
burning sage to get the COVID out of my house. Like, dude, you're going to die.
There will be an Aaron Rodgers sage and an Aaron Rodgers crystal, a whole family kit of essential oils that you can buy
From, what's her name? Yeah.
for $49.99 a month.
Shailene Woodley.
Stupid fucking
Yeah.
bitch. Jesus Christ.
Look, without a proven betting platform, it may feel like the house always wins, but with MyBookie's double deposit bonus, you start with a leg up. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros to sign up now. Claim your first deposit bonus at mybookie.com and use the extra funds to find your edge. This weekend, I like laying the points with Arizona as they continue streaking in San Francisco, and 2 top 10 offenses in the Titans and Rams are going to Sunday night. It says to smash the over, but I don't know about that without Derrick Henry, to be honest. I do like the Rams winning, though, and covering. But don't just take my word for it. Head to mybookie.com and sign up now using the promo code Drinkin Bros to get your money doubled and start winning today. Remember, good friends do not let friends win alone. So have your buddies use your referral link, which you can get through your account. You don't have to sign up to get the referral link. You'll already have a referral link on mybookie.com if you have an account. And anyway, you send it to them. If they sign up, you get a 250% deposit bonus on their first deposit. So it's like, if they would deposit $100, you get $250. Plus, it's unlimited to redeem, so you can send it to as many people as you want to join the party at mybookie.com. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Next up.
You can bet on guns, bitch.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. So the title of this segment is Constitutional Carry. And there hasn't been a lot of gun rights activists have been super critical of a largely conservative Supreme Court that hasn't taken up any major gun rights cases in about a decade now since Heller. And this new case that they've been having arguments about this week, hearing arguments about this week rather, is 2 dudes in New York that are challenging the good cause statute that some states, the may issue states. So there's 4 different kinds of states. There's a constitutional carry states, which means if you're allowed to legally own a handgun, you can carry concealed without a permit, which is what Texas is now. Arizona, a number of other states. There's a shall issue state like Washington State and a number of others where unless you've got some kind of criminal background or mental health issue that's documented that would prevent you from owning a firearm, you can get a permit just by paying a fee and licensing, permit, whatever the fuck. Then there's may issue states, which I think there's like 8 or 9 of those, and they have this good cause requirement, which means you have to demonstrate to whomever the adjudicating board is, whether it's the sheriff, the mayor, the governor, whomever, depending on the state, that you have some kind of imminent threat to your life, and that's the reason you're carrying a concealed weapon. Mm-hmm. And basically what it's happened, like with Sheriff Ahern in the Bay Area, it's primarily been, it's primarily been people who have contributed to his campaigns that have received those things. There have been cases in San Diego, number of other ones across the country. Now finally one has made it to the Supreme Court that is challenging this stupid bullshit. So a majority of the justices during these arguments over the past 2 days have intimated that they are in favor of striking down this bullshit, finally, that some kind of special justification for getting a permit is too restrictive and anti-constitution. So this case, the first to be taken up by SCOTUS in a while, like I said, a lot of folks in New York, California, Massachusetts, myself included, when I lived in California, have had to deal with this nonsense. It's based county to county. Like if you go to Contra Costa County in California, which is outside of the Bay Area, it's relatively easy. A bunch of my buddies bought property and built houses up in Redding just for this reason, so they could carry concealed weapons.
I feel like there might be not a state in the country more county to county on that than California.
No, it's California is probably the worst. New York's probably the most consistent, but
Across the state.
consistently bad at it.
Right.
Yeah. Now it appears to be going away, though. So what remains unclear from the 2-hour arguments is what the court is willing to do to clarify the Second Amendment specifically. So several of the justices, pretty much all 6 conservative justices, made comments that alluded to this being unconstitutional, but they stopped short of saying that they were just going to allow it wholesale, meaning allowing concealed weapons in sensitive areas like sports stadiums, concerts, fucking churches, shit like that, or bars.
Right.
But most states, even the ones that are shall issue states, the ones that issue permits, and some of the constitutional carry states have rules about not being able to carry at like public ticketed events. Like if you have to pay for a ticket to get in, you can't carry a gun there.
Right.
Movie theaters, fucking
Baseball games.
baseball games, concerts, shit like that. The fair,
And it's
state
also
fair. That's relatively common, even in the states that have pretty decent gun laws.
right. Like could you take a gun into an Astros game? Could you?
I mean,
I know you didn't bring your gun to that game.
U-
But
ultimately, the venue itself would be able to tell you no in the same way that they would be able to tell you no for anything else. But posting a sign on the door, like they can stop me from entering, and if they tell me to leave, then I'm trespassing if I don't, and I've committed that crime. But carrying a gun on their premises is not in itself a crime.
Okay.
Right? So if Target put a sign on the front door and says, you can't carry a gun here, I'm like, fuck, suck my dick, Target.
Right.
Who's going to tell me not to? The
Right.
person checking receipts at the front door? So if I walk in and they see my gun and they're like, you're under arrest or something, like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
you'd be like, okay, do it.
Yeah. But if they were like, hey, you're carrying a weapon, we want you to leave,
Yeah.
then I have to leave or I'm trespassing. That's the law that I've broken. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
People in liberal states like this, New York, California, Massachusetts, Illinois is one of them, a number of them, they'll likely soon be able to carry concealed weapons or at least apply for permits and begin suing their shitty states once they refuse them. Although I don't know that it's going to come to having to apply for permits, because the one person that I kind of expected to be a little, I guess, not fully on the conservative side on this was John Roberts, the Chief Justice. Not that he has some special power or anything.
He's become a swing vote.
He's a bit of a swing vote. I just didn't think he would necessarily be really staunchly in favor of this. And he usually doesn't opine on cases like this either, on the gun cases, but he was the first conservative to speak up and say that requiring permits at all seems incongruent with the constitutional right. Like there's no other constitutional right for which you need to get a permit, which
Right.
that's not entirely true what he said, because you do have to get a permit to hold a protest in some states. So
Yeah.
if that continues and the majority opinion says that you're not allowed to be permitted for exercising a constitutional right, then cities requiring permits for protests and gatherings in public will now be null. Because
That's
that is
interesting.
It's super interesting, and it should be like that. Fuck the city.
Right.
Like if you need me to get a permit insofar as like I'm going to be there so you can cordon off traffic and shit like that, that's fine. But that's not what it should be. It should be like, hey, if you're standing out in the fucking street, we're taking you to jail, bitch.
Yeah.
And like, all right, cool, then I'll protest on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I don't need a permit for that. I shouldn't need a permit for that on public property. It's absolute nonsense. But
By the way, how old are these laws in terms of like shall issue, may issue, stuff like that? Because they're obviously not as old, or even probably
think-
half as old as the Constitution, right?
no, they're not even a quarter as old in a lot of cases. So a lot of the gun regulations came about, particularly in the purple states, like D.C., I guess if you want to consider that a state, but Virginia, D.C.'s blue, but Virginia and some of those states around there, New Jersey, the laws came about to keep black people from getting guns. Because everybody just carried guns whenever they felt like it back then. You didn't need a fucking permit.
You would think even certainly like pre-World War II especially, like it's
Yeah.
just like you're...
Yeah, you can see during the Jim Crow era, a lot of these gun laws popped up, and there's some pretty good publications that illustrate how the motivation for it was clearly to keep guns out of the hands of black people, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of the Black Panthers back in the 60s and 70s were pretty ardent gun control, anti-gun control activists.
Right.
So, yeah, that's right. Boom Raiders, right. Black Panthers started a lot of a lot of it by walking into California courts armed because they thought that their friends and family were being railroaded in the court system, so they showed up to protest with guns.
Yeah.
And all these gun laws in California started coming up. So
Wasn't some of that under Reagan in California?
Yeah, quite a bit of it, actually. Yep. So, look, things are looking up. It looks like the Supreme Court is going to start issuing these judgments here in the next couple of months, and that one will probably be one that takes effect over time. I don't think they'll just call it. They'll have to give states time to prepare for that shit, because if the ruling is that they have to get permits, which I don't think, based on Robert's comments, I don't think there's going to be a permitting process. I think we're going to like a federalized constitutional carry situation.
Right.
That's going to be really interesting. I don't know. It shouldn't take any time for anybody to apply that, because it's just you're nullifying laws that are on the books. You're not making a new law at that point. So that should go into effect immediately. If there's any kind of other shit, maybe it takes place over time. I don't know yet, but this will be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of states, California and New York, will absolutely try to nullify this somehow.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it affects speech, to be honest, if you can't
Yeah.
slap permits on any constitutional amendment.
I hope that they add that to the opinion. There's a good chance that because of his tenure, Clarence Thomas will write the majority opinion for this. And I really do hope that he adds in that you can't fucking license or permit a constitutional right.
Right.
Because the right to assembly is specifically mentioned in the Constitution. So
that would have massive ripple effects on. The gun stuff is what's interesting to this audience and everything, but it would seem to have a much bigger effect on the First Amendment than anything. So that's cool. That's fascinating.
I think that firing my gun in the air is a form of free speech. Just like,
if you do
like
it,
Yosemite Sam, man.
Yeah, well,
it's a character I'm playing.
If you shoot it in Morse code, does that?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Next up, we have talk about our merch. Speaking of fucking unregulated free speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, drinkinbros.com has a store. You should know, because Dan wears our merch every day. He's got the Defund the Politicians hoodie on right now, American Party Podcast. So you can pull it up, actually, and just show some of the stuff. Did that Fauci shirt sell out already?
No, we have plenty of those.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Drinkin' Bros.
Super funny.
Drinkinbros.com, the store there. All kinds of good shit. Defund politicians slapped on essentially everything you could put words on. Mugs, hats, all that fun stuff. APAC, all politicians are cranky Sues.
No.
That's the C word.
It starts for cunt.
Oh, okay.
It stands for cunt.
Okay. Yeah, man. Everything, it's cool shit. Impeach Biden, Kamala Pelosi. Any?
Oh yeah, that's a new one right there.
I'm really liking this.
This is a new one, and then there's the Mandate This Dick is out now, which I was wearing yesterday.
For like a pretty serious interview, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It's what Mandate This Dick. If you can't see, the eye is a penis.
Yeah, it is. I prefer the term wiener, but
yeah,
either way.
Because you want to know, it just helps people understand that you're not talking to a man named Richard. Like mandate this, dick.
Well, there's no comma either.
Yeah. Well, people have bad grammar.
But all the letters are capitalized, so you don't know that it's necessarily a fucking a proper noun.
Yeah.
Or isn't, rather, a proper noun.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah, go to the merch store, drinkinbros.com/store, and you can buy all this shit. I really have appreciated everybody who went to vote wearing the defund politician stuff. That's really funny to me.
I really like this defund politician's hat in white. I feel like that's like made for the golf course.
Yeah, it's definitely a golfing or boating type of headgear for sure. I've worn it on a boat quite a few times. Lost one on a boat, actually, unfortunately. Sad story. R.I.P. Anyways, let's get back to some of these stories. I'm going to skip that one. The Afghan. Apparently, just in brief, because we're going pretty long here. We spent a lot of time on this other stuff. Afghan people are selling their kids to buy food. You've seen that already, right?
Right.
Everybody's seen that story. It's fucked up. We also know that vaccine mandates are forcing more people out of their jobs. It's kind of backfired. Even in some of the liberal press, Washington Post had a story the other day that's like, hey, this is kind of backfiring. Everybody's just stopping working.
Right.
And it's making everything worse. Like,
yeah.
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 Yeah, it's funny how the left tried to reframe this. And maybe, and to some degree, they may be right about some of the stuff. Like, people aren't too lazy to work. They're just not going to work shitty jobs for low pay anymore.
Right.
Because they don't feel like they need to. That's fine. So why would they, if you think that people are exercising their right as employees to do that, to reimagine what the relationship between workers and people who pay them, business owners are, why in the fuck would you think in that same climate that people are just going to accept draconian fucking mandates about their medical life? That's just not going to happen, dude. This you could see this shit coming a mile away. The Air Force has started kicking people out.
It's frustrating to just see them sell the vaccine so poorly.
Yeah.
Like the idea of it. Like they skipped very quickly from, hey, this is what's nice about living in 2021. We can make a vaccine in no time, to like, take it.
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't just that. It was from all these lefty politicians saying, I'll never take a vaccine that Trump makes, to we don't know if this thing is good or not, but take it or lose your job. Right. I mean, it's been pretty bad. Yeah. It also very dumb. All this is very dumb. And Pfizer's laughing all the way to the bank. They've made $65 billion in revenue this year. So, congratulations. If you were wondering what it was all about, it was about $65 billion. Let's see. China stockpiling nukes. This is a story I actually want to do.
China?
No.
Oh.
I don't care about China stockpiling nukes.
That seems like par for the course.
Yeah, that isn't a huge story for me. But the Biden administration considering paying immigrants $450,000. So on Thursday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and HHS are considering payments of $450,000 to families who were separated while illegally crossing the border. Which is a crime.
Mm-hmm. That seems to open the door legally for some more reparations.
I mean, if you're like committing a crime right now and get arrested, can you sue them for separating you from your family? What the fuck kind of stupid bullshit is this?
You could sue them for violating your civil rights, I guess, if they go too far with something, but that would be about it, right? I mean,
but they're not
they would have
suing
to,
for that. They're suing for being separated from their families.
Are they calling that a violation of their civil rights?
It doesn't matter because you have no civil right to stay with your family while you're in the process of committing a crime.
Right.
God damn it. It's the ACLU, so who knows? The payments are in response to lawsuits filed by the ACLU, depending on the circumstances of the family.
Man, how many lawyers work for the ACLU?
Who the fuck knows? A bunch of cunts. That's who works for them.
It's just like, I mean, it's just all, like, obviously that's their job is to file lawsuits.
I need to make an ACLU shirt. I'll think of something fun and put it out on Drinkin Bros sometime before the holidays so you guys can buy it and make fun of these assholes. As a matter of fact, I think, wasn't National Vegan Day this week? It's like the 2nd or 3rd of November or some shit. I remember that date, or the month, because
November 1st.
November 1st. We were going to buy
World Vegan Day.
World Vegan Day. So we were going to contract a fucking barbecue food truck and park it right across the street from the ACLU headquarters in DC, and then buy some of those big industrial fans and just blow the smoke towards them all day. Bunch of fucking pussies. Anyways, depending on the circumstances of each family, the payments could reach as high as $1 million per family and cost the taxpayers around $1 billion overall. Critics of the plan have noted that the payment exceeds the amount received by family members of fallen service members who generally receive SGLI in the amounts of $100,000 to $400,000. Advocates for 9/11 victims and their families have also spoken out against the plan. The group September 11 Advocates, which I believe is a group that Jon Stewart has worked with quite a bit, recently released a statement which read in part, "The 9/11 families suffered the ultimate separation that was not temporary in nature. Moreover, the 9/11 families are American citizens who are innocent civilians merely showing up for work the morning of September 11th. So this story's gotten a lot funnier the last 2 days, the last 24 hours, actually, because yesterday that one kid from Fox News that's a part of the White House press
Right,
team
that's
that's
always
always talking
giving
shit.
the side, yeah.
He's kind of he looks like a dude who says, my dad's an attorney, but he's always fucking trolling people, which I think is funny. He asked Biden about the plan. Not only did Biden deny it, and he called it garbage. He's
Right.
he's like, do you think that people are going to respond negatively to this plan? And Biden's like, yeah, if you guys keep spreading that garbage. And it's like, you're calling the plan garbage? He's like, yeah, we're not doing that. Well, it turns out the ACLU, who filed the lawsuit, said they're definitely discussing this with the Department of Justice, and that is an agreement that's been tentatively reached, and maybe Biden just isn't aware of it. Imagine that, Joe Biden not being aware. It's incredible, isn't it? Shit. I mean, he's probably not aware of it because he's not aware that he has little turds in his panties right now. He shit himself in front of the Pope. Dude, you embarrass me in front of my fucking friends.
Hold on. If that implies that he was aware of the shit in his pants, or do you think a Secret Service member was like, oh, God?
I think they just go up behind him and pull his pants back a little bit and then smell the top, like in the middle of his back, to see if he shit himself. Because that's what you do with a baby.
Yeah.
Right? You just hold him up. Do you think some, like, homunculoid fucking Secret Service guy picked up President Biden? Like, oh, the president shit himself again. God damn it. This is the equivalent of some asshole breaking into your house, spraining their ankle, and then suing you because they sprained their ankle in the commission of a crime.
Which people have successfully done.
These motherfuckers, they have done that. These motherfuckers broke into our country. Why would you expect to have your children present with you, staying with you, when you're literally under arrest?
Right.
Motherfucker, you're under arrest, bitch. By the way, Border Patrol tried to reunite a lot of these people, these kids with their family members. Over the past 2 weeks, 170 of them didn't have parents that even showed up. So let me ask you this. This is a question that Brittany asked me last night. If they can't get these bitches to come back to their court dates, right, when they get notices to appear, they just dissolve into the ether of America and are never seen again. There's like 14 million illegal immigrants in this country. How are they going to contact them to get this $450,000 out? My suggestion is, if you're not an American citizen, you shouldn't have any fucking civil rights, particularly if you're here illegally. Fuck you, motherfucker. You are a criminal. That is an act of war. You are invading our goddamn country. So when they contact, use the Patriot Act for something good for once. Go to the ACLU headquarters, smack these motherfuckers around, and get all the fucking names and numbers and addresses of these cunts who are trying to file lawsuits against us for them breaking into our fucking country, right? Find them, put them in a catapult, and launch them into the ocean. Fuck those people. Are you kidding me? God damn it. I'm fine if you want to sneak in here and work. But if you're going to sneak in here and then sue me, you got to go. Fucking bitches. God damn it, man. Next, we're going to end on a lighter note with me not murdering immigrants. Stripping is apparently a side effect of COVID.
Okay.
If I had known this, I would have given Brittany COVID a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like, she had it, but fuck, it would have happened a lot sooner.
Right. Well, you needed to just increase the viral load, no pun intended.
Well, they did say at some point that cum or semen carried COVID, right?
Yeah.
That was the story that came out. I don't know why. It was during that whole thing where like, hey, make sure you wear a mask when you're making out or fucking or whatever.
Right.
Remember the state of New York Department of Health put out these weird ass rules?
Yeah,
about
how to have sex safely.
God damn
Don't
it.
Styles
It's
the
like,
best position to be COVID compliant.
yeah.
That's a Burt Kreischer joke. Like seriously, like before even COVID, his wife like had the flu or something, and he said, "Baby, maybe we should just practice safe sex." He was like, "You're gonna put a condom on?" He said, "No, you just face the other way and we'll do it doggy."
Yeah, but that was actually on a pamphlet.
Yeah, again, it was a Burt Kreischer joke from.
So you're saying that New York Department of Health stole a joke from Burt Kreischer?
Possibly.
And then recommended it.
Yes.
But they did it non-ironically and not as a fucking
It became
joke.
health advice, yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. Well, look, if I'm going to take health advice from anybody, it's definitely going to be a man that walks around with no shirt on. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Oh, boy. So anyways, an unidentified woman in her 30s spent several days acting bizarrely due to a rare complication associated with COVID. In the 4 days following the woman's positive COVID test, she had been agitated, required less sleep, and had been talking excessively, according to a doctor's report in the British Medical Journal case reports. Now, this all sounds like crystal meth, right? But they're in England. I don't even know if they have meth over there.
Yeah, I don't know what kind. I don't
Probably Adderall, but not meth.
I don't know what the white trash drug in England is.
God damn it. We've got to get some British people on the show. Let's get those two journalist dicks back that do all the or that one dude.
One of them was a Brit,
Yeah, but he lives in Germany or some shit now, doesn't he?
He was living abroad, I think.
Fuck. We got to find this dude and find out what kind of.
Because he does drug reporting around the world.
Yeah.
So he would know what
actual cartel stuff. He would know for sure, yeah.
He went to that. The most fucked up thing I've ever heard, the Chinese casino where you can like eat tiger and there's child prostitutes everywhere. It sounded like somewhere that was like too fucked up for James Bond to even go.
I don't know. I mean, I could see James Bond eating a tiger, just not being involved in human trafficking.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? At any rate, so the report went on to say, in addition, she had appeared confused, talking to people who were not there, suggesting that she was having auditory and visual hallucinations, calling family members by the wrong name, and on one occasion, taking her clothes off for no reason.
Just sounds like a fever side effect.
It could be, yeah. There have been cases of people with different types of viral-related fevers where they strip their clothes off in a panic.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that. I like to think that it's not. I like to think that it's stripping.
See, what I was hoping for is that, she like bought a monkey and got on the pole.
Yeah, she started calling herself the pole COVID assassin.
Yeah.
The doctor reported that on the day the woman was admitted to the hospital, she drank 100 milliliters of body wash, which was...
This feels less related to COVID by the second.
Yeah, which was the inciting factor in her relatives taking her to the hospital. So let me get this fucking straight. The woman starts talking to people that aren't there and stripping her clothes off, but it wasn't until she drank shampoo that you decided to take her to the fucking hospital? Like, what's this person's baseline behavior on a day-to-day basis? That all that other shit wasn't enough to pick up the phone and call 911 or whatever they have, 411 over there, 311, 811. Fuck that.
I think they're 999 actually.
Oh, it is 999. You're right. 100 milliliters of body wash is quite a bit.
That is, you should be like dying or something.
This is 500 milliliters right here.
Okay.
Right? So it would be this much, basically that much body wash.
That's not as much as I thought.
That's a lot of fucking. What do you mean that's not a lot?
It's still a lot.
It's not a capful. That's enough to fucking wash yourself.
Yeah,
like
that's
at least
more than
3 or 4 times.
More than the Tide Pods that were killing kids.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. At the hospital, doctors described her as elated and overactive, but briefly tearful and highly agitated. Now that sounds like manic depressive bullshit.
Right.
After arriving at the hospital, the woman wandered around and repeatedly asked to go home before being given sedatives.
So they didn't really. At some point, like, you probably strap her into that bed. Probably before when she got up and started wandering around.
Yeah. According to the case report, when the woman was interviewed by psychiatrists, she reported being happy and wanting world peace. Although she had slept poorly for several days, she was not tired. She had grandiose religious ideas, believing that she had this, quote, special spiritual power from God that she could give to others. Maybe it's John Coffey kind of situation. She was taking other people's diseases. I don't know. But
he not coughing them out. Is that not?
Don't be a pussy, John.
Yeah, keep it in.
Yeah. In addition to her other bizarre behavior, the woman also sang to the medical staff, reported hallucinations of seeing birds, and attempted to wash her clothes in the toilet. The woman's behavior is believed to be a rare reaction to COVID that causes mania, intense moods, hyperactivity, and delusions. So maybe there's something in COVID that makes you act like you're on PCP, because that sounds like PCP or bath salts or something like that.
Well, there's a red flag in here.
A lot of red flags.
That for me, that Dan might have recognized, and I think she's bewitched.
Oh, Bewitched, like this TV show?
No, well, kind of. I mean, it involves witches. So the girls that did all the accusing during the Salem witch trials, one of the things they kept saying was that it would see like yellow birds. They would hallucinate yellow birds, and that the witches were, putting them in their mind or whatever. They got a couple chicks killed by just being like, "There's a yellow bird on her hand," and everyone was like, "Well, fuck, that's what witches do."
Shameless softcore history plug.
Yes,
No,
check it out.
You don't need to have shame. ATG 8242 manic bipolar episode. This shit happened to my little brother. You're saying that while your little brother had COVID, he had a manic bipolar episode? That's pretty interesting. I've never heard of this before. That's pretty wild. I mean, it makes you wonder about. Because we know this whole thing about, look, the phrase long COVID is being used to scare people, but there are some lasting effects that seem to be kind of bizarre. Like this taste and smell thing is weird.
Yeah.
anything that affects your sense of taste and smell is dangerously close to your hippocampus where your memories are stored, right?
Right.
Those two things are right next to each other. So that's very bizarre. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on for sure.
I mean, it's a weird fucking disease that we still don't know a lot about, right? I mean,
No, we should change all of human policy Earth-wide,
Yeah.
though, and force people to get shots or die. Because,
vote or die, motherfucker.
yeah. It didn't work out that way, though. I mean, I missed a vote one time because I was super high.
Yeah.
It's local bullshit elections in a place that I was getting ready to move from anyways, but,
I missed the one the other
Puff
day.
Daddy didn't show up.
Yeah.
And kill me.
Well, you're
for
lucky.
Sure. Butters got him, though. Or he got Butters, rather. Let's see. ATG says he literally stripped naked and ran through San Diego and talked about we were gods. Wow, that's wild. Interesting. I'm going to look into this more. But not today. Today, we're going to go talk about college. I'm tired of the politics for today, and we're going to go talk about college football. Hold on. Jason Kincaid. They say the Bible was written on mushrooms, and remember Jesus was only 2,000 years old. I should have read the Cliff Notes. So John the Revelator, right? Not the Baptist, but John that wrote the Gospel of John, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and Revelation is...
Well, John the Baptist didn't write anything.
No, he didn't. Yeah. He was illiterate, probably, right?
You would think.
He was illiterate. He's a Bedouin fucking farmer or some shit. Anyways, John the Revelator was banished to an island called Patmos, Patmos, and it's said to be a hotbed of hallucinogenic drugs, particularly mushrooms, or maybe some version of DMT. There's a really good book, Terrence McKenna's The Food of the Gods, I think covers part of it, but there's actually a whole book just about John's experience on that island and how Revelation was just one drug-fused nightmare that he had. It's very cool. So go read that shit.
Man, and this is a backwoods ass island too.
Oh yeah, dude. It's like the fucking, it's hillbilly as fuck.
Yeah.
What about the Dead Sea Scrolls? What about it? Just because something was written a long time ago doesn't mean it was real. If that's what you're alluding to? As a matter of fact, there's quite a bit of disparity between what's actually in the modern Bible and that. But
Whatever.
What are you gonna do? I don't care about any of this shit. What I care about is nothing.
Yeah.
We believe in nothing, Lebowski. The Dead Sea Bowls. I like that better. Das says they were packing the Dead Sea Bowls. That's a good fucking, good way to say that. I like that. Anyways, we're going to go fucking do college football. And so tune on in to Drinkin Bro Sports on our other YouTube channel and follow that. I'm sure I'll still be fucking mad over there. So.
Well, yeah,
And Beerworth, shut the fuck up, dude. I'll get the RMR site. It's at my it's actually sitting on my nightstand right now, so I stopped forgetting. But I still forgot for a whole week now. Anyways, fuck you guys. See you later.